Hello, this is an Aeropress video. So, the regular Aeropress method takes these three pieces, put a filter in there and that filter holder, screw it on, put it over your mug, and ultimately you put ground coffee in there and water and you plunge it down, right? Now, there are alternatives to this method, but for this traditional method, the steps are the same. The difference with an inverted method is that it tries to eliminate the draining that occurs in the regular method. So when you have the coffee and the water in there, if you let it bloom and you let it sit for 30 seconds before plunging, all that time water is coming out of these holes. And so some people feel like that's inconsistent. That water that drips through hasn't been in contact with the coffee for as long as the rest of it. So the inverted press Aeropress method does. Call it the inverted press method. We'll just stick with that. It tries to eliminate this dripping by using the rubber plunger as a seal, as a bottom. We have 25 grams of coffee, a little bit of Zingerman's winter blend I had left, and some espresso blend. We're going to end up putting that in the Virtuoso at a little coarser than 13. They call for is 13. We're going to go a little coarser, kind of speed up the dwell time. Have about 450 grams of water in the kettle, 350 for brewing, and about 100 for warming it up. Let's go ahead and put this in the Virtuoso. I'm going to go just a touch coarser. The water is being heated up about 202 degrees. It'll probably be a little closer to 200 once I start brewing. Okay. So, you can certainly sift these out. We're not that fancy here. First thing we're going to do is we're going to warm it up. I like to think that putting the hot water in there lets the plastic and the rubber expand for a better seal. Get a little messy, that's alright. Pour it into our cup over here, off screen. Okay. So, take our funnel, pour in our grounds, we're going to go ahead and give this a 30-second bloom. Let's even those grounds up. Should have looked at my watch first, but again, this is all stuff you can Google. I'm just giving it a shot my way. If you want to be, perfect with your coffee, gotta measure everything out. Very careful with how much water and the time, and experiment and journal. That's not what we're doing around here. Okay, I think that's been about 30 seconds. Pour the water up, almost to the top there. I'm going to stir this. We're going to do this for another 30-45 seconds dwell time. You can experiment with this. You can go a little longer. Kind of trying to do this. The inverted press makes it a little closer to like a clever dripper style. Where you can control the steeping time before letting it filter out. So now you're going to take your filter. You want to wet it first. Screw it on top. This is the fun part. Or terrifying part. Put your mug on. And then we're going to just flip it over. One smooth motion. More or less. So, this is where you plunge, but I'm going to put my own little spin on it. I don't like the amount of coffee that comes out of this chamber. So, I don't want to water it down like an Americano. So you're going to end up with some grounds left on this plunger. And that's okay. Again, incredibly, this is not approved by the Barista Association of America. Honestly, I'm not even sure if that's the thing. Okay. Not trying to win any world championships here. So, I'm just going to let this drain down like you would, or like it does in a regular Aeropress method. And that's basically what you have here now. I've heard that you can stick this plunger in the top, push down a little bit, and pull up, and try and create a little bit of a vacuum to keep from draining too much. That's how it's supposed to work. Now I think that's most of the water measured out. Now, for a nice slow plunge, it's in the conventional method. And there you go. Modified inverted Aeropress method. Just a few more quick tips while I'm at it. I've seen that while you are brewing it in the traditional method, if you have a carafe, brewing more than you want to put in your cup or mug, these Hario ones are just a little small. Wobbles around a little bit. It doesn't fit perfectly in there. So I've seen is that if you take your filter, or your, take your funnel on the carafe, it provides a better base for your Aeropress. It's a little more stable. I haven't actually tried that, but it seems like a cool idea. Convenient alternative. While we're on the topic of the Aeropress stuff, you can get these little paper ones, paper filters, real cheap. Don't use up a lot of paper. But also, there are metal filters that are made. These are made by Able Brewing. I think Tim Wendelboe, that's how you say his name right, makes some. Actually, these are in a. You can tell which one's which. Come in a fine and more coarse holes. They're laser cut holes in a piece of metal, and they fit in your little filter holder perfectly. This is the fine one, I think, and it does all right. It's a little more of a French press style. I think you're gonna want to grind a little coarser. The other thing I've heard you can use your Aeropress for is for distributing water on another brewing method. You have a clever dripper here, for instance, where there's a Chemex in the corner. Same type of concept here. You can pour water into your Aeropress and let it come out the holes on the filter holder and have it sprinkle down a little shower. I get a more even, less random dispersing of water. Just real quick, I wanted to show that this plunger vacuum method does work. You can see the water is up to here right now with this plunger creating a vacuum. And just not a whole lot coming out. A couple drips here and there. Pop it off and it just drains like the civet is. So got really is very effective.